billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So inshallah we will learn 3 ayats of Surah Ghafir today. Ayat number 79 to 81. So we'll do a simple translation first, and then we'll go into the details of the formation of the words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the mankind in the first ayat. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Allahu alladhi, Allah, it is Him. Ja'ala, He has made. Lakum, for you, and you are the mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the mankind. Lakumul an'ama, the cattle, and we'll see what those cattle are. Litarkabu minha, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that you may ride on them. Wa minha ta'kulun, and of those you eat. So there are two purposes that are being mentioned and these are domesticated cattle, animals, and we'll go into the details of that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after that, in ayat number 80, the ayat starts, walakum fiha, and for you, and again, you is the mankind, fiha, in the cattle's creation and all these services they provide, manafi'u, are benefits, walitabulughu, so you may attain, or you may search, or you may find, alayha, in them, or in the cattle, hajatan fi sudurikum, whatever are the needs in your hearts. And in those days, the camels and cows and all those were the big means of eating, transportation, and everything else. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that by using this the cattle, whatever is need in your hearts, you can fulfill or attain those needs. Wa alayha, and upon them, upon the camels and other cattle, horses. Wa alal fulki, and upon the boats, the ship. Tuhmalun, you are carried, which means you transport, you use these ships and camels and horses for transportation purposes. Then in the next ayat, Allah says, وَيُرِيكُمْ آيَاتِهِ, and He shows you His signs. Allah shows His signs to the mankind. Then He is putting forth a question, فَأَيَّ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ, so which one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tunkirun, you will deny? This ayat has a similar, last portion has a similar concept of the Surah Rahman when it says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, which of the blessings and mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you will deny. Here Allah is saying, which of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you will be denying. So with this simple translation, there are many formations linguistic here. So what I want to do is some simple rules I want to mention, and this will benefit for those who are sitting first time or learning now. Some rules which are simple, many people know, but it is good to repeat those rules. First of all is that if you have two nouns, and let's say the noun, I'm taking the example of kitabun. The actual word is kitabun. Kitabun means book. And a noun always has on the last letter two dhammas or two pesh with the sound of noon. So the full Arabic word is kitabun. If I have another word here, another noun, and I'm taking this time a noun, Allahu. This word has a pesh or dhamma at the end. So full word is Allahu. When we stop, we say Allah. So we have two nouns. The rule is that these two are independent nouns, but if we want to establish a relationship between these two or any two nouns, in English we simply put an of in between, and now these two things are related to each other. Book of Allah. Okay? In English, that's what we do. In Arabic, there is no of. So what we do, we modify the word by itself. And how do we modify? We look at the first word and replace two of these dhammas or pesh by one. So this becomes kitabu. On the second noun, we take this dhamma or a pesh and change into a zair or kasra. Then we have to read them together. So we don't pronounce the alif in between, we pronounce kitabullahi. Changing the noun sound itself brings the relationship and the meaning of in between. So kitabullahi means book of Allah. This rule is called the rule of idafa. Idafa means you are adding one word into the other word. Idafa means adding or increasing. So that is one rule. Keep this because we are going to use this rule in many places in these ayats here, and very strongly we are going to use. So just remember the rule. When you combine the two nouns together, make a relationship, do an idafa, addition in one word into the other word, then this is the rule of doing that. That's one rule. The other rule which is repeating here, and it's very important that we understand, I have repeated many times, that if you have a verb here, so if I write down these three letters with the three fathahs here, khalaqa, the meaning is a third person he, and past tense, the meaning is he created. Okay, so that is the grammar of third person past tense. Khalaqa means to created, and when you put three fathahs, the meaning is he, third person, created. Now, I'm going to take another independent noun, not related at this time, and that is al-insano. The full word is al-insano, the man. Okay, separate word, independent of this word, the man. Now, if I want to relate these two, I want to create a relation between these two. In English, it will be simply you continue reading, he created the man. In English, we simply do that. It doesn't happen in Arabic that way. So we have to look at the whole picture once we understand the Arabic. What is the picture is that this word, khalaqa, is going to work on this word, creating that word, or this person, or this being, number one. Number two, this word, al-insano, by itself is an independent person. But as soon as he is created, he is no more independent anymore. He is dependent on something. He has no authority, no power left in it. Okay? So this word now is called maf'ul. Maf'ul means work has been done on this word. This word itself cannot do anything. A lot of concept is behind this word. In English, we call object. Okay? Now, how in English, the man remains the man. In Arabic, al-insano does not remain al-insano. We have to change this fataha, and then you have to read them together. Khalaqal insana. Now it will become, if you spoke khalaqal insano, you are wrong Arabic speaking. As soon as these two words are tied to each other, and the rule is that one of them has to be a verb. Very important. This is a verb. This is not a noun. Keep in mind, in the previous example, Both were nouns. In this case, one is a verb, the other one is a noun. So when you make a relationship between a verb and a noun, certainly verb is the action, activity is being done on this person, and this person loses its identity as being an independent person. And to represent that, we change Dhamma to a Fataha. So even if you just see the word al-insana, khalaqa is not there, you can imagine then this word is a dependent, is a maf'ul, is an object. He cannot do anything by himself. This rule is coming here a few times, so I wanted to repeat that rule here. Okay, so that is one rule. Couple other rules which are very simple, which is I'm going to repeat here that they are very important. So let's see if we have these three letters, fa, and lam. Fa'ala, it means to do. If a second person is doing something, then we put a ta in the beginning, and if it is a plural, we put a waw and noon at the end. So the word is taf'aluna. Taf'aluna means you do or you will do or you are doing. So present tense and a second person plural. The rule is that to make a you put a ta in the beginning with a fatah. Important thing is that zabar. And to make it a plural, you add a waw with that in the three letters and add a noon which has a purpose later on. So taf'aluna means you do. Now these were three letters. Now we make a bigger word by adding an alif in the beginning and it becomes four letters. These are four independent letters. Af'ala. An example of this is that if you have three letters, salama means to have peace. Make a bigger word by adding an alif and it becomes aslama. Aslama means to submit. Islam. So salama means to say salam to peace. Aslama means to submit or to have submission. So when we make four letters grammar, the rule is that on the first letter ta, you put a dhamma here, pesh, and then combine with a fa, and then combine with the ayn, but you put a kasra there and luna. So two changes happen there when you make the grammar of four letters, that this fataha changes into dhamma and this ayn fataha changes into a kasra. So tuf'iluna, tuslimuna. Okay, so that is a simple rule of making grammar if you are using three letters versus four letters with the af'ala. So these are the basically three rules. There is one more rule which will come in the middle and I will explain when it comes because that has a meaning there. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning. The ayat starts with the word Allahu Ladhi. Notice one thing, that first of all, the word Ladhi is used for he or it. If it is a human being, it's a being, it is he, otherwise it is it. Okay, it has a plural, ladhina, those. But when you put al before that, it becomes dahi. Dahi means some special person or the it. Okay, so that is the word al-ladhi in the Quran. Al-ladhi, when you write them together, two lams are written together with the tashdeed or shadda. Now, what I wanted to point out is that this word, its meaning is he, or in English we put a he is, or it is. So we just add is in English to make a proper sentence. But what I want to point out that this the word before that is Allahu. Okay? And Allahu is a noun. If this Allahu is coming, you can speak this Allazi Allahu. It is Allah. But when you bring the noun first in the sentence, it adds the emphasis in the statement. So arrangement of the words is very important. When you say Allahu Lazi, first mentioning the name of the doer brings the importance. It is Allah. You have to emphasize, it is Allah. Okay? Then after that, the word is Ja'ala. Jim, Ain and Lam. Ja'ala means to make. And when you put three fathas, it becomes the grammar of third person past tense. Ja'ala, he made. Ja'ala, he made. Okay, what did he make? Now here is another thing. In making the proper English sentence, if I take the first three words, Allahu Ladhi Ja'ala, it is Allah he made. So for a proper English, I will change he to who. It is Allah who made. Okay. So in English, this will be translated who has made or who made. Number one. Number two, after that, the word is lakumul an'ama. So let's understand that word. Lam with a fatha means for. And kum is a plural of you. Kum means you all. And you here is the human being. So as soon as this word comes lakum in the picture, it means Allah is addressing you, the mankind. Okay? Pictures are becoming more and more clear by the arrangement of the words. It is Allah who has made for you. Lakum. Other thing is that I want to point out that the word is kum. Kaf joins with a meme, and this is a jazam or sukun. So the sound is kum. It will change. But original word is lakum, for you. Now another word, noon, ayn and meme. This word are the root letters. It has many meanings in Arabic and Urdu. For example, the word ni'ma, ni'mat is from there, blessing. In'am, reward, is from the same root letters. When two Arabs are talking to each other and one says something, other says naam, 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 means yes, yes, yes. Okay? Same root letters. Okay? One word that we created is that na'a, noon, combined with ayn, and meme, put a shadda on that one. The word when Arabs say na'am, that is what they say. Noon and has a fatha on, na'am. Okay? That means yes. But if you have a sukoon here, na'amun, this means animal. Okay? Domesticated animal. Okay, I'll come to that one. Its plural is an'amun. An-amun. Okay, cattle. Cattle in the meaning is domesticated cattle. What are the domesticated cattle? Those cattle that live with the human being, with the people. Okay, and Quran counts them: goat, sheep, cow, donkey, horse, camel. These are the animals. They are called domesticated animals or cattle, and they are the an'amun. Okay. Now there are two purposes of these. They don't live in the wild, They live with the human being because they serve the mankind. Two purposes Quran is mentioning, but then in mentioning another purpose which you can drive. People use them to ride, camels and horses and donkeys. People use them to eat, cow, sheep, goat, and also camel. And then they use their milk. Then they use their skin. So there are many manafia. There are many benefits. So Quran has a definition of the word an'amun. When you put al before that, it becomes the cattle. Okay? And the cattle are those I just counted. Al removes one dhamma, so the word become al an'amu. That is the characteristic of al. When you put al, two dhammas change into one, and you pronounce al an'amu, the cattle. Now, look at the word ja'ala. Ja'ala, he made. I just explained a rule that this is a verb. Verb is doing an activity. The activity is happening on this word. So this is a maf'ul. This is an object. To represent a maf'ul, we take the last letters dhamma and change into a fataha. Okay. Al-insano changed to al-insana. So al-an'amu changed to al-an'ama, and if you look in the Quran, that's how it is. Okay. So then you have to read them together. Ja'al al-an'ama. Ja'ala, and there is a word lakum in between, but ja'ala is changing al-an'amu to al-an'ama. Now, there is a word in between which I specified, mentioned to you, lakum. Lakum has a sukoon at mim, okay? And ja'ala is before that. Now in the tajweed, when you read them, you combine the words together. So you combine lakum to al, and you change this dhamma to this sukoon to a pesh or a dhamma for tajweed. So now it becomes lakumul. Mim had a sukoon before, but to read it together, tajweed allows you to change harakat on the word, and it will become lakumul an'ama. Ja'ala lakumul an'ama. He made for you the cattle. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to mention what are the purpose, and actually twice this rule, next rule is coming. I want to point out to that the rule is, we have done few times. These are three letters, fa'ala means to do. Okay, and I just wrote down that if you put a ta in the beginning and write down taf'aluna, taf'aluna means you do. Okay, or you are doing, or you will do. So what ta does here, ta brings the meaning of you, waw brings the meaning of plurality. This noon, as I was mentioning before I go on details, this noon we add for a purpose. It is not part of the word. This noon has a name. First of all, it's called noon Arabi, and it is purposely added to play something with these words. So we just keep it, but we will do something. Now I want to define a new word or a new letter, lam, with a kasra. This particular lam has a name which is called lam-e-ta'lil, and I'll explain what that is. this has the meaning of so that. In Urdu, it's called taake. So that means taake. Okay, and this lam has a purpose. Okay, so if I say taf'aluna, you are doing something or you do something. Okay, and I say I gave you some money so that you may do something with that. So I'm making a sentence where I'm using the word so that. I gave you some money so that taake you buy something with that. So I'm giving a purpose of giving you some money. Allah is saying, I made the cattle for you, so you may do something with the cattle. Okay? So for that purpose, this lam-e-ta'lil is used. When lam-e-ta'lil is used to bring the meaning of so that or taake, it does two things with the word. First of all, it kills the sound of this noon. It says this noon-e-arabi was placed for a purpose. That purpose is not there anymore. So it removes this noon-e-arabi. Number one. Number two, it adds the word here in between may. Okay. And for writing purpose, we just add an alif, which is just written in the script, not spoken. So litafa'alu is the final word. Litafa'alu means so that you may do. I gave you some money so that you may spend it. So the purpose is being mentioned by adding this lam-e-ta'lil in there. And the sentence becomes possibility that you may make use of that. So keep this rule. This is very important. The next word that is coming here has the root letters of Rakaba. Okay, Rakaba means to mount or to climb. You know, Rakab is a Urdu word. When you climb on the horse, there is something is hanging, you put your foot in there, and you jump on the horse, called Rakab, which means a helper to climb on the horse. Rakaba means to mount or to climb or to jump or sit on the back of something. Okay, so if I use these three letters and apply the rule I just learned, li tarkabu. Okay, so li tarkabu means so you may ride. Li tarkabu, so you may ride. Li taf'alu, you may do. I just did that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the purpose that He has created the cattle so that li tarkabu, so that you may ride. You may sit on their back and you journey with that. So that is the purpose of li tarkabu, with that formation of the grammar. Now after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word minha twice. Minha, min means of or from or some. There are many meanings. Okay. Ha means it, and this ha is pointing to the al-anam. So on some of them you may ride. Minha means on some of, so you don't ride on all the cattle, you don't ride on the sheep or the goat. Some of those, they are camel, they are horses, they are donkeys. So Allah is saying that among all the animals He has created, on some of them you may be able to ride. Waminha, and some others, or some of them, ta'akulun. So let's look at that word. That word is basically start with this Hamza, Kaf, and Lam. Akala. Akala means to eat. Okay. This is a Hamza, and Alif is just a chair is sitting on that. Okay, so I'm going to apply the same grammar we learned. We add a ta and a una. This gives you the meaning of you, tafaluna, and this gives you the plural. Waw and noon gives you the plural. Okay, and you put these three letters in there. Ta'akuluna. In this case, middle letter carries a dhamma. So ta'akuluna, you eat. That's the word in the Quran. Ta'akuluna, you eat. Minha ta'akuluna, and some of these cattle, you eat them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the purpose that He has created. Some of them you ride on, some of them you eat. Then Allah says, walakum, same word, and for you, fiha, in it or in them, or this ha is pointing again to the cattle. Allah says, in them there are manafi. Manafi is the plural of nafa'a. Nafa means benefit. We use for faida, but faida is a benefit too. So, but nafa'un or manafi'un. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that plural, many benefits are there for you in these cattle. Then another thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, وَلِتَبْلُغُوا عَلَيْهَا. So again, rule is same. Waw means and. Balagha are the root letters. Balagha means to reach, or to arrive, or to attain. There are many meanings. So let's just take attain. Now, I read that in the mountain areas, okay, you have no means of transporting anything from one place to another except the cattle. You put on the back of donkey, horse, and they walk on those dangerous pathways, climbing up and down, that it is not possible for by any means of transportation to move goods from one place to another place. Okay, that is a very big need that people have in those areas. This ayat, this may be pointing to that. So Allah is saying that you have other needs in your hearts and your minds to fulfill, and these cattle will help into that, carrying your goods in the dangerous places. So that's the concept of walitablighu. Okay, let's understand. Balagha are the root letters, means to attain or to reach. Same grammar, first you put a ta in the beginning and vuna at the end. So it becomes tabluguna. Tabluguna means you, plural, attain or reach or gain, many meanings. Okay. Same you apply, you rule up, put a lam e talil in the beginning, so that we just learned that this will kill the sound of noon. It will add may here, so it becomes litablugu, so you may attain. Manafi, there are benefits, so you may attain those benefits. Alayha, upon them. The ha is constantly pointing to the animals, the cattle. Alayha means upon them. So using the cattle, using those animals, by loading them up, you may benefit other ways. And that is the next word, hajatan. Hajat is an Urdu word. Hajat means need. Okay. Hajatun is the word. Hajat, hajim and waw are the root letters actually. And hajatun is the noun. Hajatun in Arabic it's written with two dhammas and a round ta. In Urdu we just write down ta, hajat. Hajatun means need or requirement or need. This word is coming as a maf'ul of tablughu. So when, as I mentioned, a word becomes as a maf'ul, then we change to dhammas to two fathas. Okay. So you may attain, you may satisfy upon them your needs. Hajat. Okay. Fi sudurikum. What does that mean? These are common words. Swad, Dal and Ra are the root letters. Sadrun, that we know the sadr is called the chest or the heart. Why we call it? Because this is the part of the center part of the body. And center part of a city is called sadr. Okay. Center part of the body is called chest. Okay, or heart. So sadrun. Sadrun means one heart. Its plural is sudurun. Sudurun means hearts. Then you put kum. Kum means you. You combine these together, it becomes sudurokum. When the ma goes away, sudurokum means your hearts or your chests. Whatever there is a needs in your hearts, you may attain them by getting the benefits from the cattle. Okay. Wa alayha, again the same words, upon them. Ala means upon. Ha is pointing to the animals, cattle. Wa alayha, upon them. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word fa, lam and kaf. Fulkun means a ship or a boat. Fulkun means ship. Okay. When you put al before that, it becomes the ship. Al will be the ship, and al removes one the ma or page, so it becomes al fulku, the ship. Then you add ala before that. Ala means upon. Ala is a harf-e-jar. Harf-e-jar will change this dhamma to a kasra. You read them together, you pronounce alal fulki, upon the boat or on the boats, on the ship. Wa alayha, and upon the animals, cattle. Wa alal fulki, and upon the boats. Tuhmaloon, this word we know, let's understand the meaning of that. Hamala are the root letters. Hamala means to carry. Okay. The word a person who is carrying is a hamila. Hamila is a female, she is carrying a child. So the meaning of hamala is to carry. Okay. So if I do the same thing, same rule, I put a ta in the beginning and huna at the end. It becomes taha maluna. Just learn constantly. Taha maluna means you, second person plural, carry. Now we are going to make one change here. You is addressing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are the pupil. Carry. But if I change this first letters fataha to a dhamma, it becomes passive voice. The rule is very simple. All you do is change this to a dhamma. It becomes passive voice. The meaning will be you are carried. Allah is telling that upon the boat and upon the camel, Allah has provided the facility, so you are carried, you are transported from one place to another place by these two means of transportation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that there are also other means which you don't know. At that time, people did not know, but now we know there are other means of transportation, the cars, the planes, and all those things, the train. So in those days, there was the only two means of transportation. Allah mentioned those two. Okay. Then, so that is ayat number 80. Ayat number 81. Rules are same, but it has a little bit more detailed understanding of the ayat. First of all, the ayat starts with waw, means and. The next word is ra, alif and ya. These three letters. The meaning of this is to see. To see something. If I add, so these are three letters. They belong to the group of the words fa'ala. I'm going to make a bigger word by adding an alif, just like I mentioned in the beginning. So this will become ara. Yeah, 4 letters. The meaning of these 4 letters is to show. Okay. Very organized structure of the language. Here you are seeing yourself, and here you are showing to somebody else. Okay, the vision is involved in both cases. So ra'a means to see, ara means to show. Okay, when we put a ya in the beginning, yuri and kum is for you all. This means he shows. Yaf'alu, he does, but in 4 letters we put a dhamma in the beginning, as I mentioned in the beginning. So yuri kum, he shows you. He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kum is you people. So Allah says wa yurikum, and he shows you. He is showing you. Okay, what is he showing you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. The word is ayatun. I want to point out, make sure we understand this pronunciation of this word correctly. In Arabic, when you have a Hamza and Alif with a fatah, this sound is a. Okay, in Urdu, it is written in this way, khada alif on that. It's the same thing, a. Then you put a fatha and put a ta marbuta at the end, round ta. So it becomes ayatun. Ayatun. Important thing is that tries to pronounce this. I have seen even the Hafiz make a mistake here. They stretch this a little bit longer, and its meaning becomes plural. Ayat is signs. Ayat, one sign. So, and the only difference is that if I put in a small alif there, it becomes plural. Okay, so it's very important that we pronounce Quran correctly. Anyway, this starts with the word ayatun. Ayatun means a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or an ayat. Plural. How do we make the plural? We keep this same sound a, except that on the ya, now you put an alif here, short alif. And in Arabic writing, they put a fatah, and so say ya. Here it is ya short, it is ya here. Then when you make the plural, you open up the round ta to a regular ta in writing. Sound is same. So the word is ayatun. Ayatun means signs. It's a plural. Okay. Then you combine with this noun or pronoun who. Who means he. Okay, and he is pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you join these two together, this is signs. And joining rule I mentioned is that you put an off in between. So it will become signs of he or his signs. What we do here, we remove one dhamma here, but pronouns don't change. So ayatohu. Important thing is that sound is ayatohu. Okay. Ayatohu means his signs, because we need to really make sure that we understand the harakat here. I'm going to write down one more time. Ayatohu. His signs. Now,
The who doesn't become the jar because ayatullahi, so ayatuhu
to sound is to is still there.
is who. That's not he.
As I said, pronouns don't change.
You don't say
Who is a pronoun? Pronouns don't change to kasra. Only noun changes. Pronoun stays same. Okay. In qiraat they may change, but in grammar they don't change. So this remains ayatuhu. Now one more thing will happen. Yurikum is a verb. He is showing you his signs. So this word become maful or object. Someone is working on this. Someone is showing you. So this is being shown. So this is being worked on. When you make it a maful, then I told you the rule that al-insano became al-insana. Except there is one exception. When we make the plurals, and if it has a last letter ta with this thing, for example, samawat. Okay. When you make the plural, then samawat or ayat, or there are many words in the Quran where plural has a ta at the end. Okay, salihat, many others. In that case, there are two conditions only. They never carry a fatah on them. So instead of ayata, it will become ayati. The rule is that if it is a plural and last letter is a ta, then it will not carry a zabar on it. It will carry a zair. Okay. So ayati. Now comes the qari. Okay. He says ayati hu. He has to move his mouth first to bring the zair sound, he, then page sound hu. So he said, well, easy thing for me is if I pronounce this also he. Pure pronunciation, no grammar here. So qari is doing that. Ayatihi, very smooth pronunciation. Okay, so that is what final word is ayatihi. Okay, wayurikum, he shows you his signs. Okay, so now next thing is I want to the 4 words fa'ayya ayatillahi tunkirun. These 4 words affect each other, so we have to translate them together, but I want to write down the original word. Fa means so. Then the next word, which is very important, I want you to pay attention, is ayyun. The original word is ayyun. Ya has a tashdid, which means ya is twice. Last letter has a sound of 2 pesh, sound of noon. So the full word by itself, if you look in the dictionary or recitation, it is ayyun. This means which. Like you are asking a question, which one? Okay, which. Then let's look at the next word. By itself, the word we just learned is ayatun. Full word, independently, ayatun. Full word is ayatun, and it means signs. The next full word is Allahu. Full word is Allahu. Okay. Do not combine them at all right now. Keep all of them separately. These are the original words separately. Ayyun, Ayatun, Allahu. Now start doing something. Combine these two first together. Okay. Putting off in between. What will happen? Both of these words will change. Ayatun will become Ayatu. Allahu became Allahi. So let's write down now. This becomes Ayatullahi. So who became he, and tun becomes tu. Now if you pronounce together, Ayatullahi, signs of Allah. Now put an off in between these two. Double off. It's called double idafa or double mudaf. Okay, what will happen? Now the action will remain between these two words. Okay. This word was ayyun, so this will lose one dhamma. So it becomes ayyu. Okay. Second word was dhamma, it will become kasra, zair. Okay. So now it became ayatillahi. This became ayyu. Okay. So now translate these by themselves. Which of the signs of Allah? Which of signs of Allah? So all three words have changed in their construct. Original words have changed. Allahu had become Allahi, Ayatunu became Ayati, Ayyun became Ayyu. Now these, you have to read them together to completely understand. Ayatullahi. Now keep it there. We are not finished. Nakara is a word with 3 root letters. Nakara, 3 letters, so we belong them to the Bab Fa'ala. Okay. Nakara means to negate something. Okay. But if I put an alif in the beginning, it becomes 4 letters and it becomes Ankara. Ankara is Urdu word, inkar. Deny something. Inkar means to deny something. Ankara means to deny. Now apply the same grammar. Put a ta in the beginning and wuna at the end. Ta brings the meaning of you and wuna is the plural. So the meaning will be you deny. Okay. So it will be, okay. Now as I mentioned that in the 4 letters, this ta carries a dhamma, first letter. Okay. So it becomes tun kiruna. Tun kiruna means you deny. Now translate this way. Which signs of the Allah you didn't deny? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting forth a question. So many blessings have been mentioned, sign after sign, and then Allah says now, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which signs of Allah you think you can deny now? Tunkirun is, wahan tukazziban is being used because for 2. If it was more than 2, it would be tukazzibun. Here, all the people are being addressed, so tunkirun, you deny. Now, one more thing is going to happen. Fa'ayyu, fa means so, Notice that in the construct we have Dhamma here. Ayyu ayatillahi, which of the signs of Allah? Now combine this with tunkirun. Tunkirun is a verb. Ayyu is coming as a maf'ul or object that. So this will change to a fataha. So this tunkirun is affecting all the way there. So you can now, for the purpose of understand it this way. I'm going to say tunkiruna ayya ayatillah. You deny which signs of Allah. So ayya or ayyu became a maf'ul, an object, and as soon as a word become object, its dhamma changed to a fatah. So that's the reason in the Quran it is fa'ayya. Starting with ayyun, now it became ayya. So these four words combined have modified each other's sound so much that most of the originality is not there anymore. Okay? But sentence formation, now important thing is that, again, notice one thing. In Arabic sentencing, if something is mentioned first, it shows the significance of that. Here, tunkiruna is coming last, but ayya is coming first. So emphasis is on the ayya. Which one? Is there any one of the ayats that you intend to deny of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Okay? So it's very important that we understand the Quran with the true sense of understanding, with so much depth in it. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to ponder upon these things, to understand these things, and pay attention and learn these things. So inshallah we'll stop here. May Allah give us tawfiq to learn the Quran properly. And we will open for the questions now.